Hi everybody, my name is CJ Rosenbaum. I'm one of the founding partners of Rosenbaum Familaro, and we help sellers all over the world. I have videotaped probably 20 or 30 or 40 of these videos, and I'm fearful that you get sick of hearing and looking just at me. So I want to introduce you to Adina Grodsky. She is a student at the New England School of Law. She's also the daughter of a fantastic friend of mine, an incredible entrepreneur. And she's been doing a research project on what's called the Egyptian Goddess Standard, or the Egyptian Goddess Test. So Adina, if you can, explain to all the listeners from Rosenbaum Familaro, people who come to us to learn how to avoid problems, how to maintain their accounts, how to stop hijackers from jumping on their listings, what is the Egyptian Goddess Test?
Okay, so it's important for sellers to firstly know that the Egyptian Goddess Standard basically changed the way that products are viewed in court. So basically before the Egyptian Goddess Standard, products were seen through the Novelty Test, and that was the way of testing whether two products were similar enough to allege infringement. And basically, so the Novelty Test looked at either individual design features or a combination of multiple features, and whether those were seen in prior art in the, I guess, in the plans for the products.
Let me stop you for a second.
Sure.
What we're talking about here is if you're making a complaint about a product that you believe is infringing upon your private label product, or you're a rock band and you think the design on someone's t-shirt is too close to one of yours, or it's a cooler, or any product at all, when you allege infringement, what Amazon's going to do is to look at the two products and say, okay, is this product really infringing? And Amazon, from what we've learned from our work for sellers all over the world, uses the Egyptian Goddess Test, and it's very visual in nature. They're really looking at the product to see, does the alleged infringing product look really similar to your product? And vice versa. If you're accused of infringement, this is what Amazon's lawyers look at. And the way they decide whether or not they look alike is through this legal standard called the Egyptian Goddess Test. Where did the Egyptian Goddess Test come from?
So there was a famous case, the Egyptian Goddess Inc. versus Suiza, where there was basically a coffee maker, and Egyptian Goddess had, oh no, it's not a coffee maker. I'm sorry. It's a nail buffer. And so the patent that Egyptian Goddess had filed stated that the nail buffer was rectangular in shape and had the buffer material on 3 of its 4 sides. And it was hollow in the middle. So the company Suiza came out with a similar nail buffer, but instead of the material being on 3 sides, it was on all 4 sides. And that is where Suiza built their defense, saying that it's visually different using the ordinary observer's test. And that is one main test that came out of the Egyptian Goddess predicament, I guess. And so it's basically, in the name, an ordinary observer, a general person. If they can distinguish between the two products, then that could constitute as an infringement or not. But where that gets a little bit fuzzy is an ordinary person like me or you, or even someone that doesn't have experience in law, like a seller, firstly could have bias in the product, so it's a little hard to distinguish between products if you already know about one and not the other. And secondly, it's, what was I saying?
Well, let me tell you. First of all, the case comes out of Texas. So if you're from Texas,
Yes.
This case can either help you or it can hurt you. It is effective nationwide, and the ordinary observer is a way that Amazon uses to assign this observation or looking at pictures to anybody. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily require legal training. You're just trying to compare the products and take a look at them, or in Amazon's case, look at the pictures of the products and say, would an ordinary person mix these two products up? Now, Amazon sellers face this every day, where Amazon is a very erratic place to do business. So one person in Hyderabad who might be doing this ordinary observer test might think the products are visually similar, and someone else looking at the same two products, and this is the pleasure that you guys all deal with on Amazon, may look at the same two products and say, no, it's not visually similar.
Right.
So this is what sellers need to know. If you can if someone is hijacking your listing and they look visually similar, and you could yourself apply the Egyptian goddess test, you can use that as an argument to knock other sellers off. On the other hand, if you're on the other end of that argument and someone is accusing you of violating their product and they are visually similar, you can use that argument on the other side of the fence.
Yes.
So it really depends on which side of the fence you're on and how you want to use this piece of the law that we know with 100% certainty Amazon is applying to products to either protect yourself or to protect your private label listing.
So that's exactly the problem with the ordinary observer test, is that it's very vague in general and covers a lot of area with the terms that they define it as. So just like you said, an ordinary observer could say, hey, that looks the same, or hey, that doesn't look the same, and that could be, I guess, depending on what side of the table you're on, it could be an advantage or a disadvantage as a seller or a consumer.
And you need to know this depending on which side of the fence you're on. If you're writing your own plan of action, or you're contacting a rights owner, or you are a rights owner, these are the things you need to know to arm yourself with the arguments you're going to need to make, either to knock hijackers off to protect your private label, or if you're accused of violating the law. So Egyptian goddess, also I want to thank Adina. She had probably half an hour's notice. Usually our people, when I stick them in this video studio, they have about 30 seconds notice. But I treat Adina a little bit nicer than I do other people around here. And I want to thank you. Great research, great presentation. Also, if you're watching this video and you're shopping on Amazon, please use Amazon Smiles. I talk about this in most videos. Amazon Smiles is a program where Amazon will donate a small portion of your purchase to a charity. And please pick the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. The foundation was started in the name of Ty Lewis Campbell, of course, who was a little boy who died of brain cancer. And the foundation was started by his mom, Cindy, and his dad, Lou, who I know for many, many years. And they turned just awful tragedy into triumph. And all they raise money for is to find better treatments and also hopefully find a cure to pediatric cancers. So the Egyptian Goddess Standard, Amazon Smiles, and please pick the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. Thank you very much.